right, welcome to Sober Champs, episode 2. I'm Rudy. This is Pete.
What's happening?
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode 1. I know for myself, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable today. This is just it's a great day. It's a beautiful day outside. We just had about an hour conversation with Mondo, our podcast producer. We've been here, Mondo Garcon here at Color Studios. It's just we really feel like at home here now. And I know for myself, last time it was my first time being in front of the cameras, the mics. I was like a little bit, on edge a little bit, but I know I'm feeling a lot more comfortable today. It's a beautiful day out here in Seattle. The sun is out, it's shining. Yeah. What's up, Pete?
What's happening, Rudy? How are you today? Sounds like you're pretty excited, pretty pumped up. The weather's nice, like you said. But how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. Like everything is just feeling right. Like this podcast just feels right. We just moved this painting by Jim Carrey, the actor Jim Carrey. Mondo just told us we just got this new painting. Do you guys want it in the shot? We're like, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a Jim Carrey painting? Come on, bro. Well, yeah, it's our version of Van Gogh right now.
Yeah, so we're trying to create some beautiful art in here too. So let's just jump right into it. So basically, last episode, Pete interviewed me, and the fans and everybody that's listening gets to understand a little bit about me and Pete and our story, because our vision and our goal is we're going to start bringing guests in to share their stories on their sobriety journeys. But we figure for the first couple episodes, it'll just be me and Pete, and we'll tell you a little bit about us. So last episode, Pete really interviewed me mostly. So this time I'm going to ask Pete some questions, and so you guys can get to know him a little bit. I know for myself, I just passed 20 months of sobriety. Pete, where are you at in your sobriety journey?
Look, just today, 3.6. So I got 3 years, 3.5 years and some change. Beautiful. So yeah, sober date 9/9/19, like we talked about.
Right, yep. Right. Yeah, my sober date is August 22nd, 2021. And me and Pete been knowing each other pretty much for that almost all that 3.5 years that you got. Well, let's take it back. Let's go back to how about like when me and you first met. What was your life like then? Like journey us into your mind.
Yeah, well, I do. I'll get to that in a second, but I do want to jump on what you just talked about, being more comfortable. At this point, man, like having it be our second episode, this is a lot more comfortable than I was the first time. So with that being said, I want to be very clear with why we're here. We had a vision about carrying the message of sobriety and recovery to others, and we thought that this podcast would be perfect for it. And so to be able to be in here doing it and fulfilling this dream is miraculous. Before this, I couldn't finish anything. I couldn't complete a thing. I couldn't accomplish it. I mean, I would do little things. I would do little things in my mind, but when I was younger, I used to think I was going to be a billionaire, just. And what I've learned through this journey so far is that it's like little baby steps. Step by step, we'll encounter things good and bad, but through it all, we're going to continue to work. And so today, just being able to calm down and relax and be able to come in here and look at you and hang out with Mondo for a little bit, and the sun is out. We'll get to what the sun means to me in a little bit, but at this point, I just want everybody to know we're out here right now. When we first got together, man, I was I was in a situation where my life was in shambles. I was sober. I was going to meetings at recovery halls all over the place. I was scared. I wasn't sure if this was for me. I knew that I was doing a lot better. I knew I was doing a lot better, but I wasn't sure if I could keep it going forever. The place I worked, uh, it had a lot of situations where use of drugs and alcohol were about or were around. They're around after hours, before hours. It was just all over the place. And so, for me, I had to really take a moment to weigh which way I wanted to go. Did I want to stay sober and kind of be alone, which was what I thought that was
Mm.
going to be? Or did I want to go like hang out at the barbershop and just like, hey, what's up, fellas? Yeah, I'm the sober guy. Come on, come join the team of sobriety and get all hyped. And because I was talking that shit. I was talking that sobriety like it was nothing. Like everybody needed to come join the sober team. Why do you drink? Like drinking's for cornballs. Like you got smoking weeds, corny. You got to come over here.
Mm.
And if you're gonna come over here, you got to join the sober team, and you got to be all about it, just like me. We're promoting this shit, sobriety for over everything.
That's what we thought at least.
Yeah, I was pumped. I was
Mm.
excited. My life had been getting a little better, but in reality, I was struggling.
Inside.
Yeah,
Mm.
because like my home, I have a son. Shout out Lionel. Shout out Courtney, my wife. Because before I got into recovery and before I got sober, I had all the things, man.
Material
I had
things.
all the shit that you
Family.
would
Yeah.
think that would need to be considered successful. I had a
Mhm.
career,
Mhm.
I got the house, I got cars, I got money, I got the wife, I got my son, I got things. I'm rolling. But for some reason, I was dying.
Mm.
And when we had met, I was just about 6 months out of dying. And I was hanging on by a coattail, man. I was just hanging on to these cats in the program, and I was like, man, I need it so bad because I know that if I trip and I fall, that's it. All that stuff is gone. Courtney's gonna divorce me. It's gonna be a wrap, and I'm not gonna see my son. It's gonna be a replay of what my dad went through.
Mm.
I don't want to be. I always told myself I don't want to be my dad,
Mm.
and so I was struggling. But I was in a meeting, and so when we met each other, it was this common ground, and yeah, so that's kind of how we met was at that meeting, and it intrigued me that you were possibly looking at a union job. 'Cause I'm a union man. I, b-
Likewise,
I
me too.
yeah, I believe my family, my dad is a union guy, and he taught me about unions and labor unions and what labor unions provide for that for the worker. And so that drew me to you like, oh, okay, you're a worker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember hanging my hat on that one, like, okay, all right, I like this dude. He's kind of quiet, you know. He's newer to the program, but he tried it before. See, I wasn't sure about you. You tried it, you'd been tapping in and you hadn't been to treatment, you hadn't been to anything. You just kept coming to these rooms, and I was like, oh man, but we had about the same time. Whereas the cats that brought us there had like 10 years
Right.
and a decade and shit, and almost 2 decades, some of them. And I couldn't, I mean, I could relate to it, but it's like secretly, I couldn't relate to it.
Mhm.
Like I was trying to get caught up because as a competitor, like one of the things that you learn early in sobriety is those sober dates stick and people sometimes or a lot of times die with that sober date. So then you never catch up to them.
Mm.
There's no way to beat these guys or
But
win.
yeah.
I can't win. I mean,
Hmm.
how do I catch up? I'm trying to win this fucking. I'm trying to be the best sober guy you done ever met, ever seen, because that would mean that I'm winning at this.
Mm.
I want to be a champion sober guy.
Hmm.
And so that's where I was going because my life depended on it. Now that's what I didn't know yet. Was my life depended on it? I wasn't clear about that yet. I wasn't clear that I was about to die. I wasn't I wasn't afraid to die. I was afraid to live. And so without drugs and alcohol, I was walking this little tightrope of like, ooh, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to interact with people. I'm socially awkward. but I'm just sitting here sipping coffee and getting getting hyped up.
Getting lit off
Yeah,
coffee.
getting hyped up, chatterbox,
Yeah.
talking to anybody, everybody all the time, just talking sobriety, staying real close, staying in the middle of the pack so I didn't get sniped and ripped out by the wolf.
I hear
So
that.
yeah, that was kind of that's how where I was when I met you.
Right, right. No, I remember that night very specifically. We talked about it a little bit last podcast. I was drawn to you too because our personalities they kind of go well together. You're a little more outgoing, expressive. I'm kind of more laid back in the cut and just kind of observe things. So I think we meshed well when we first met on a friendship level. Well, Pete, take us through like those first few months, first few years in sobriety. Like, how was it going for you? Just trying to stay sober out and living in the world, and what was going on with you?
Yeah, well, one of the ways that the way that I got there was that I had a moment. That moment like was my bottom.
Mm,
Uh, my bottom was like I had so alcohol is my engine. Whenever I drink alcohol, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. And as a young man, I would drink alcohol and I'll black out and I would do things that I wouldn't have even thought of doing sober ever. Or maybe I had, but I would never act on that. But for some reason, when I would drink, I'd act on those behaviors.
mm,
And so I got in a lot of trouble. But the thing about it was like I learned early that like the alcohol was real sloppy.
yeah,
Like it was real sloppy, and I don't know, man. I can't operate. These cats, look, didn't you see the drunk guy down there? You know, you can tell they're drunk. So then I found I dabbled. I was changing, seats on the Titanic. I was just trying to find what would make me most comfortable if I'm going down.
mm,
What's my and so I've tried coke. Uh, I'm a hyper guy, so it made me super hyper.
mm,
So then cats was like, "What the fuck? You're on coke."
mm,
So that was that. I really liked it, but I just know I was so hyped up on top of me being naturally hyped up that I really didn't enjoy it. Uh, so I like downers.
mm,
So I like to calm down because my ass is just always moving and thinking and active and always just something's milling in the brain and so I remember one of my first experiences with my dad. He used to get back surgeries. He had like 2 or 3 back surgeries, and I was in high school at the time, and I had moved in with him, and he didn't like to take pain pills, and I didn't really know what pain pills were. And so at the time, Eminem had these songs out, and he'd dabble and talk about like
yeah.
Vicodin,
Yellow or
ring, ring,
purple
ring.
pills,
Yeah,
and yeah.
so my curiosity was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Mm,
Because he's not talking about popping bottles in the club. He's talking about pills. Like,
mm,
what the fuck? Why would you want to? What's up with that? Like to me, where I came from, pills and coke and all that stuff was no go. You were smoking weed and you were fucking popping, or and you were drinking. And you needed to keep it like in control.
mm,
And for me, when I dabbled in the alcohol, I was always like I couldn't just drink one. I always down that shit, and I got sloppy. And then I was like, I can't really do this. I like it, but I can't control it. Something's wrong. I don't understand. And then every time I take a little bit off, then I drink, and I don't understand. So it was this cycle. Then I found weed, and
mm,
so weed was my shit because like it would calm me down, but it would allow me to like be imaginative and like just chill, man. Just put so far out, bro. Like yeah, but I wasn't like the hippie cat. I was trying to be the cool cat, the cool, quiet, dressed nicely guy,
mm.
and it worked for a while until like I was doing it like every day, all the time, skipping class, doing that shit, and so my dad he had uh he had taken this he had gotten the back surgery, and I remember him having these pills in the bathroom, and it was like hydrocodone or Vicodin or some, some of these M325s. And I remember trying them. Mm. And there was this moment of like, ooh, I feel loaded, like drunk, but I feel calm. And I don't smell like liquor. And I'm not sloppy. And I'm chatty. And I'm relaxed. And I got game. So it was like alcohol without the side effects in my experience. And so I dabbled in that, but then the prescription ran out. And I thought nothing of it, but I had put that feeling in the back of my pocket like, "Ooh, you really like that. If you could do that every day, that would be the shit. That's what you would probably choose to do." And so I got in it pretty deep later on in life. And so, I'm 40 years old. So about 3.5 years ago, I was in a situation where I'd stolen a lot of money from my dad, $100,000 actually in a 9-month period. And the way I had stolen it was I was going into the credit unions and writing myself a check from his account. And being the manipulator that I was making friends with all the cashiers, and I was real cool with everybody, and funny and laughing, and man, I started making withdrawals. Started off with like a $300 withdrawal, and then my addiction kind of started, and I'm buying Oxy at this time, so 30 blues, and I was selling them at first, bro. I was selling it at first. And then the dude that I was selling them to decided that he needed help. And I remember when I was selling to him, he would be extremely like aggressive with needing them. Like as if he was addicted to them. And I was always like, oh shit, this guy's really, he needs these things.
But that'll never be me.
Never. Yeah. I don't know I'm not gonna be that guy. That's just the white dude from around. Like, so that's a rich white dude. I am not a rich white dude. I don't have the funds to do this. Looks like it's terrible. And so then, but one day I he was gone. I wasn't selling. I didn't have anybody to sell it to, but I had just bought a pack, and that pack was sitting there, and it was calling my name. Hey, Pete, you can just try me. It's cool. Man, it's cool. It's the thing to do. You can just pop one, take control. It's cool. It's not alcohol. And I remember trying it. And boy, I felt like Superman. And but there would be these moments where it would run out. And I would be so sick. Like I'd be I couldn't move. I'd have like diarrhea and throwing up at the same time. So how do you do that in the bathroom? One's gonna go somewhere, and it ain't gonna be where it's supposed to go. And so what happened was I get hooked on the stuff, and I'd run out and then be like, yeah, like I'm done. I'm out of here. And by the way, when I'd be done and out of here, I'd be drinking, I'd be smoking weed. By the way, I'm smoking weed every day. There's no stopping to the weed. I am full on addicted, but it's weed, and people are, now we got dispensaries. It's legal. So what we can do is, it's okay. They're selling alcohol. They're selling weed. Okay, we're good. I'll just do that in between finding the dope.
And at this point, are you working? You got a job? What's going on with that?
I'm working every day.
Right.
I got a fun. I mean, I got 100,000. I don't know how much is in this account, but I'm pulling out a lot, pulling out a lot in a 9-month period. That a couple visits a week, and so I'm working. At this point, my son is born, and so we're fast forwarding to about, what is it, 2019. And let's just go 2019. 17 is my son's born, and here's a big part of my story, man. Like, uh, it was 2016. My wife and I had a miscarriage, and it was a very traumatic experience for my wife. And what I didn't know about was that it was a traumatic experience for me, because I was there to be like the rock at that point. I was there to hold together the family when my wife was having this struggle. She was in pain, she was in grief, and I was sad, but I couldn't show that shit. I was trying to just keep it together, man. I gotta go to work. We got bills to pay. I can't sit in these feelings. These feelings are, I need to get high. Well, I need to smoke weed. I need to suppress these feelings. But what was happening inside of me was like I was really sad. I was really upset. I was really, there's as a as a father right now, to have someone so close to you, that you have built this life with, go through something so traumatic like that, uh, is absolutely heartbreaking. But I had been so heavy in my like addiction of weed at that time that I was like, yeah, okay, well, she can feel that way, but I got to keep it moving. But little did I know that that shit was eating me up every single day. And the fear of what was happening after that was that I believe about 9 months, 6 months, 9 months later, she was pregnant again. Now, if you can only imagine what we had just went through, now here we are again. What the fuck? Like, oh shit, the fear uh, was setting in.
And then you got this added fear. You're running up this bank account from your dad's account. So you got all these stressors starting to pile up on you.
Well, the interesting part about this was I hadn't hit it yet. Like, I hadn't hit the account yet. So here we are. Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm using all types of things, whatever I can get my hands on, but I'm not fully on yet. So what happens is my son's born, and I'm the sole provider. It's my job. Courtney's at home. I'm going to take care of the family. I'm going to work every day, night, day, whatever. I got to be the provider. Now, mind you, now here we go. It's starting to ramp up. We're starting to, those feelings are still there from the past. Feelings are ramping up. And now we have a situation where my son's about a year old. And in my mind, I'm just a provider. I'm not a father yet. I'm like, man, the dude's like, you just hold him and he cries for his mom because she wants milk. He wants milk. And I'm over here I can't wrap my head around how to be a father. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I would run away. And the way I ran away was I go to work because I thought that was what my job was to be the breadwinner, and that was it. But little did I know, like, my wife needed me. Like, I needed to be participating in the family relate. Like, I need to be a part of it rather than like taking shifts. Like, and so I just didn't know. I didn't know. And I ended up in that situation where I was starting to dabble. And my dude, he went to rehab, and I started to dabble. And with that dabbling came this up and down thing, because like because I wouldn't get him, I wouldn't get the dope from a prescription. I get it from the street. And the street was like my guy. And my guy he was real inconsistent. And so like if I would want sir, if I would want the things on Monday, he might have them ready for Friday. That's not gonna work for me, man. And so I go through periods of withdrawal.
Yeah.
And this withdrawal would set me aside for a week in a home with a 2-year-old or 1-year-old, with a baby. And I'm down in the basement with food poisoning. Because that's what I got. That's the best story I was coming with. I ate something wrong. Now, mind you, I've told my wife all of this. My wife knows every single story, for the most part, every single story about my use. But this was the one that broke the camel's back, because what was happening was no one knew what was happening in that home. And when I was going through withdrawals, my wife would be with Lionel. And she'd be with Lionel because I couldn't do it. I'm in the basement in a bed and I can't get out the bed. The only way I can get out the bed is to go shit and throw up and take a bath. Take a bath, go shit and throw up and go to bed. I'm useless as a father, useless as a partner. I am absolutely, positively not really. I'm just a roommate. And so there would be these moments where I would go through these weeks of withdrawals, and then I'd hit a month of use. And then a week of withdrawals, and a month of use, and a week or maybe 2 months of use, and a week because everything would hit right. So everything would work out, but then there'd be that week. And it got to the point where, like, I've literally been into a hospital to get, like, my stomach checked because all these bad foods I'm eating,
Right.
all these, I'm sick all the time. Something's happening. Something's wrong with my stomach. Little did anybody know that I was on the dope. And I'm thinking, I'm Googling shit. How do you get off withdrawals? How do you get better? What kind of things can I do? And mind you, every single fucking time, I'm not going to go back and do this shit. This is fucked up because I'm ruining my family. I'm going to lose my family. I need to stop this. But man, that man would call. I'm back in town, ready to rock and roll. Before he would even, man, I'd be high before I'd even get the dope. I'd be high on the way to him going 100 miles an hour. I'd be high. I'm sick, out the door. I've been sick for a week. I'm high going. I don't know why. And by the way, I'm telling myself, don't go. But I'm driving anyway. I got to get there before other cats get there. I got to get my pack. And so, there comes a time where the money dried up with my dad. Mm. And my dad called one day. Hey, man, shout out Shaky, man. I love you, Dad. He was like, this is the phone call, and I was ready for it. I was ready. He said, hey, man, motherfucker, you want to pay this shit back or you want to go to jail? And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, I tried to be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He was like, you want to pay it back or you want to go to jail? I'll pay it back. Pay it back. He said, all right, this is the deal. $800 a week. I said, deal. He's like, but I said, don't tell nobody. Don't say nothing. And so I'm in my shit. Like, I'm in the worst I'm taking 20, 30s a day. 20, 30s a day. And when I got the treatment, I told somebody I was doing that. They looked at me like, God damn, man. Thank God you're here today. Thank God you're sitting here. And I was like, well, doesn't everybody do that? Well, no, apparently not.
Well, especially now with all the fentanyl that's out on the streets. And, I think we both know people that have passed away because they thought they were taking a Percocet, ended up having fentanyl in it. And that was a wrap.
I mean, a weird story about that was like, I heard about this shit. I heard about fentanyl. But I was pretty sure, like, this is how my addiction works. I don't know about anybody else's, but this is how mine would work. I would get the pack, and they'd be a variety of fucking pills. They'd be all fucking different types of, there'd be yellow ones, blue ones, fucking whatever. And I'd research every single fucking one, and I'd put them in a pile. I'd be like, M30s go here, this one goes here, and then I separate them, and then I make sure they're legit as far as I could. Like, I'm the farmer. I'm being a pharmacist, man. I'm looking for the fake ones. I want to know if I got any and They all panned out. They matched the photos on the fucking Instagram. And this is deep. I'm deep in this shit. I know what I think is real, what's not, what's pressed, what's not. Whoop-de-whoop. Man, that was my biggest fear, is to take a fake with fentanyl in it. So I'll never forget, man. There was just one day. I'm on I just picked up the pack. I'm on my way to go eat a gyro. I hadn't eaten in a week. But now there's these weird pills in it like that I hadn't seen before. Like, but I Googled them and I'm matching. I'm like, well, they look close enough. They look close enough to what the real thing looks like on the photo. Fuck it. And that's what it was every time. Fuck it. I don't know. It's Russian roulette. We're going, fuck it. And I went, fuck it one time. 2 minutes later, I get a call from my guy. And he's like, yeah, Pete, don't take or don't give anybody. Because at this point, my lie is this. I'm telling the drug dealer I'm selling them. Well, he probably knew. Probably knew I was on the shit. But I wasn't admitting it. So don't sell anybody the green ones. And I said, oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, I get off the phone. The green ones were the ones I just took. I took 2 green ones. Now I'm scared as fuck. I think I'm going to die. And so, luckily, I get some food in me and nothing happened. Now, mind you, don't take these ones. They got fentanyl in them. Well, I get through the blue ones. I get through the yellow ones. I get through the other one, pink ones. Call my guy. What's up, man? Let's link. Well, I won't be back till Friday. It's Monday. Well, all I got left is these fucking green ones. And what do you think I'm gonna do? Do I want to be sick or do I want to get well? Well, I want to make sure I stay well. Like, I'm okay. I gotta operate. I can't be down for another week. Like, I've been down for the last 7-8 months. I'll go, and so I pop them, man. What the fuck? Scared to death. And that's one of the stories, like, along with every day. Like, I didn't know if they're real or not, man. I didn't fucking know. But I know that I was super sick if I didn't take them. And
so you're getting pretty physically ill. I want to go back to something you said. You said you didn't eat for a whole week?
Yeah. So what would happen was when I would get dope sick, first thing to go is your appetite. Because now there's something with the withdrawals that's like you get sweaty, you can't sleep, your skin feels like it's crawling, your muscles tense up, and you can't keep down food. So I tried it, like, dog, we're talking about a banana, maybe half a banana. Talking about water, Gatorade, saltine crackers for a week. And so, but what happens is once you get the shit in you, all of a sudden you're better. Once I take my things, I'm back. I am Superman. I'm fucking hyped. I'm excited. I'm interactive. I'm myself. I'm myself again. And so my wife would always be wondering, like, what just happened here? You were just down and out for a week. And now all of a sudden you're running around the backyard with super energy with Lionel, and you're just the happiest fucking camper in the business. Now, mind you, my wife didn't know that I had a problem. That was one of the biggest secrets that I held.
Right.
No one knew. You cats tried to tell me after I got sober, oh, yeah, we knew, we thought so. Well, motherfucker, you didn't say nothing. You guys didn't say shit. Fuck you guys then. If you thought something was wrong, have the balls to come and talk to me and help a man. Help me out. Now, was I going to be able to receive the help? Probably not.
Now, when you went to the doctor, I'm curious because I went to the doctor before too because cocaine was my drug and it would give me these heart palpitations and I was really worried about my health. My heart was beating like really inconsistent and out of control. And I went to the doctor a couple times, and they did some EKGs on me, and but I didn't share with him that's the reason that I was going there. Did you ever share with a doctor what you were going through and the physical illness that your disease was causing you?
Yeah, so ironically, I remember calling group health. So I had these benefits, and I call this hotline, and I'm like, and Courtney's in the shower, and I've ran out of the shit. My dude ain't coming for a week, and here we go fucking again. I'm fucking sweating. It's here we go. But this time I need to do something different. I can't do this anymore. So I remember I called them, and they were like, "Oh," and I explained what's really going on. I'm popping pills. I can't control it, and I keep getting sick. And I need some help. I need some help, man. I need some help.
Yeah.
And they're like, "All right, this is what you're gonna do. We're gonna get you a counselor, a drug and alcohol counselor, and you're gonna go talk to them, a therapist." I said, Psh, "That's it. That's a solution that I can do." So I'll never forget. I go to him. First experience, like, now mind you, I'm high as a kite now. Cause see, between that and 2 weeks later, I found it. I'm on again, and I'm geeked up in the therapy session, and I do a couple of them, and then I finally tell him, I said, "Look, man, I'm taking about 20, 30s a day. That's my truth. I got 30s in the car right now. I can't live without them. I got a problem." This man looks at me and he says, "Hey, so I cannot continue to see you anymore until you go to inpatient."
Oh, okay.
I remember being like, "Hold up, man. So you're telling me after I share my truth that the only way that you and me are going to continue to interact is that if I go to treatment for how long? 30 days. Fuck you. I'm not, you know what? I'm the sole provider for my family. What do I look like going for 30 days with no pay, fucking getting help for this shit? I should just be able to control this shit. You're supposed to tell me how to control this shit. You're supposed to help me control this shit. I need strategies on how to use, brother.
Mm.
And you're over here telling me you ain't gonna see me no more? Well, fuck you then. And I ain't going to no 30-day fucking treatment. I got shit to do. I remember getting in that car and being like, "Yeah." I called Courtney and was like, "Yeah, it's not working out with this guy. Him and I just aren't clicking." Now, did I tell her fucking he kicked me out of the office? No. Did I tell her he kicked me out of the office on the reason being that I need to go to treatment? Fuck no. So I hit it. So between that time, there was probably I was using 5 months more, probably something like that. And
So your sobriety date is 9/9/19. First of all, that's a dope ass sobriety date. Just all the
thanks.
nines in there.
Yeah, I put it together just like that. I waited for that day just to make it look cool. Thanks.
But the whole deal is what happened that day and what led up to that being your sobriety date.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Man, uh, uh, I will call. Okay, so we'll get into this thing called moment of clarity. So I had a moment. I've had a lot in my life, moments of clarity, and I had a situation where I just got off work, and so I had run out of money from my dad. My dad stopped that shit, and he was like, "Yeah," but my addiction was still full blown.
Right.
So how do I fulfill the addiction? Well, I started stealing from my own bank account.
Mm.
My wife was so busy with her life, like she was she was just trying to keep it together with an addict in the house. She didn't know it. So she wasn't very keen or aware of what was going on in the checking account. So one day in a 2-week period, I took like 10 racks. So I'd taken 10 racks, boom. And I remember I had this moment of like, I was sitting in front of or right near the original Red Robins down in U District. And I driven up there, and I don't know why I was up there. I don't even remember why. But I was up there after my shift. And I remember being like, all right, I'm going to tell her that I've taken the $10,000, but it's going to come back here in about a week because I'm going to get paid in my dues overage check. So anyway, there's this check that comes around once a year in my job. And that money, it's a lump sum. And it was about 10,000. So I came up with this elaborate lie of why I took the 10 to get the boop to, and it just did not make sense, man. It was insanity that I was trying to explain how this was working. And my wife finally had reached her boiling point. And I tried to explain what the money was doing. And it didn't say, I'm speaking it and I know it doesn't make sense. And there had been moments in my in my life with her in my addiction where she'd find some pills and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm selling it for so and so or whoop doo. You know, I was quick with the quick draw McGraw. I had stories for everything, reasons for everything.
Oh yeah, we lied
lies
about
for everything. I could find Rudy. I could make good lemonade out of just lemons, the best. I'm selling lemonade from just straight lemon, no sugar. Nah, but I'll make you think there's sugar in this shit. And so
I feel you about the lying. When I was in my active addiction, I mean, if you didn't want me to lie, don't ask me any questions, because anything that come out of my mouth was pretty much a lie. I was lying to others. I was lying to myself. So yeah, go ahead.
no, but that to me it was protecting. Cause see, I was running the show. I need to protect my disease. My disease is telling me that I need to run it. You don't tell anybody. You don't, and you lie at all costs because there's not going to be a single person standing in between you and that shit that I need.
Right.
And you're going to go through everybody, anybody, all the time to make sure you are good with me, the disease. And I was a vessel for it. I was just doing whatever the disease wanted me to. Man, I'm doing, sure, I need it. Cool. Whatever. I don't care. I'm hurting everybody, missing things. So I get to this point where I'm out right near the Red Robins, and I'm explaining this lie to her, and she starts screaming at the top of her lungs on this phone, and she's on the way to work, and she's like, I don't believe a fucking word you're saying. And if this is even remotely true, what you're saying, you need to bring me a document that says what you're saying is true. And you need to bring it to me right now at 9 in the morning. And I'm sitting here like, my first thought was, I know how to create a document, a fake ass document. So I was going to go to the library and make up this fake ass fucking document and take it to her work. But this moment of clarity came over me. And all of a sudden, it said, hey, I got a problem. Words started coming out of my mouth that said, hey, I got a problem. I got a problem with pills, man. I got a problem. I just said it over. I got a problem. 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 She was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I got a problem. She's like, what are you going to do about it? This is fucking news to my ears. What the fuck is going on here? I thought I knew this guy that I'm talking to on the phone, and now you're telling me you got a problem with what? What are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to call my union representative. I'm going to get some help. And so
let me just back up a little bit, because you finally told the truth.
First time ever. I had a using buddy I was rocking with, and I'd always run these ideas by him about use. And like, do you ever get dope sick? He'd be like, nah, man. And I'd just be like, this is fucked, man. I guess I'm the only one dealing with this shit. But apparently I'm not, because when you do internet searches on like withdrawals, and it's like this huge elaborate library of information about withdrawal, like these problems that people are having. But for some reason, the one guy I confide in, he's not dealing with it. So what else? I'm just stuck with my own life to do would secretly try to figure this out.
So we're getting to this point of surrender. So, but what both of our spiritual advisor would teach us is that what comes before surrender is defeat. So, are you getting to that place where you're feeling pretty defeated?
There was these moments that were like, all right, so if I filled up this whole fucking room with pills, I'm not sure that I could last a lifetime on the pills before they would run out. I don't know. I would have this whole room filled. I don't think that's enough. I really don't. So then, am I gonna continue down this road of like always tapping in, like running around trying to find it? Because if I didn't have it, it's like, you know, cats. I can relate to like vape pens. These cats that like vape, and they got these vapes, and like if they don't have their vape, they're like sweating and they're tripping and they're having a problem. And for me, I would like, if I didn't have my shit, it was a problem. And I'd have to figure out like, oh, I left it at the house, or I left it in the car, I left it. It'd be like, oh my world, like I'm not doing none of this before I get my shit and I'm good. And so it was like this, it's like when you lose your wallet or your keys, but it's like on a whole nother level. And so, yeah, so that was kind of that.
Wow. So you're working up to your sobriety date.
Right.
So what happens that day? Walk us through that
September
day.
9th.
Yes.
Yeah, September 9th. Yeah, so I talking to Courtney, and Courtney telling me go show up. So I call my union rep, man, and I'm like, yo, dog, like, what's up, man? Hi, how you doing? My name is Pete Cadigan. And this gentleman was like, it was real loud that day on his phone. I don't know where the fuck he was at. And he's and then all of a sudden it gets quiet. And he says, hey man, can you tell me your name again? I said, yeah, my name's Pete Cadigan. And he said, oh, are you shaky, son? And I was like, man, bro, this ain't about my dad. See, my dad's one of these popular dudes in the town. Like, you know, you ever, well, I'm not saying I'm popular, but I'm saying that when I go places, I run into people I know. But he was on steroids with that shit. He knew he's been in Seattle for 80 years, and he's running. You run everywhere. So there's people that like him and don't. And at this point, I'm not worried about so the place I work, my dad got me into that job. And so in this job that I have, his name is my name, kind of, but I have to earn my own reputation.
Right.
But the problem is I also have to wear his reputation sometimes for the way that he treated people as well. Well, he's a little crabby kind of guy sometimes. He can be mean, he can be nasty, he can be friendly. He's up and down. And you know, he'll tell you the story one day, but he's a dry drunk. So he used to drink when I was younger, a little baby or younger than that, or not. He just had trouble with alcohol. And but he never got help with it. And so, long story short, he was just always around, you know, stepping on people's toes, liking certain people. So this dude is like, hey man, are you shaky, son? And I was like, like in my head, I was like, bro, this ain't about him. I am trying to confide in someone to tell them I have a problem and I need help. I don't want to hear about if you like my dad or not. And he said, did you know that your dad and my dad are best friends? And I said, well, he's got 1,000 friends. You know, I'm short right now. I'm on a short leash. I think I just need 1 hour of therapy a week, that somebody's going to train me into how to hide my addiction better. I'm going to be able to control it better. I need the tools to operate as a better alcoholic addict. That's what I need. Okay? That's what I think I need. And the gentleman tells me, he says, yeah, so Mike Barrage is my dad, and they're best friends. And so I don't know about you, but when I was, you know, as a younger man, as a kid, there were these men that I would I would really admire. I finally like because my dad he was all right. He was all right. I love him to death. He could only do the best he could with what he had.
That's right.
Right. So he's my guy. He's my dad. And so, but then there was these other men that were like present for their their kids, and like they were cool dudes, man. Dudes that I would like, as sick as it got. It's like if I could trade my dad for another dad, that's Mike Barrage is the dad that I would trade. The one guy. So this dude, I don't know him from fucking a can of paint. And this guy's over here telling me, yeah, and I'm like, huh, interesting. And he shares his story. And I'm listening. And I'm like, man, and you're sober, dog? For like 25 years? Come on, for real? Yep. And you can get it too. And I was like, oh, that day was rough. Cause I had just heard a man in the same profession I got tell me that there's a way out of this shit. And you can keep your job. And you can keep your family. And you can stay alive. And you can live. And he was like, all right, you ready for some help? And I was like, sure, man. Hell yeah. I was hyped. I was pumped. I was like, let's go. And he was like, all right, where you want to go? You want to go out of state? You want to stay in state? What you want to do? And like in my mind, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna stay in state so that everybody can come visit me, and like it'll be cool. Everybody will get to visit me and it'll be excited. It'll be cool. And I remember going to this place called Lakeside Milam. And it's in Kirkland, and being a Seattle cat, Bellevue, the east side is a more exclusive place to be. You know what I'm talking about. The money's a little more fluid. There's millionaires. Bill Gates lives over there, so
it's across the water.
It's across the water.
Nice.
They got a floating bridge in between us. Like, it's filthy. It's where I wanted to be, I thought. And so he's like, all right, I'm gonna have this place call you. And by the way, it's lakeside. I'm thinking it's by a lake, and it's gonna be fucking balling. And there's gonna be a spa, and there's gonna be a fucking weight room, and there's yoga and massages, and oh yeah, I'm gonna be in heaven over there.
Yeah, you're like, sign me up for that.
Sign me up for a 30-day break from what I got going on. Oh yeah, all right. So then they call me. They ask me some questions. Lakeside calls me. They ask me some questions. I answer the questions. They're like, all right, you qualify. And at this point, I'm saying all the truths. I'm saying it all.
So going back from that one truth, you told that one truth to your wife, and then it started from there.
The snowball, it was an avalanche of truths for the most part. Like, what did I have to lose? I'm losing it all anyway. My wife's leaving me. She's moving back to Rochester, New York. The house is going to be empty by the time I get back from this 30-day stay. So fuck it. We're just going to go all out and tell the truth.
And the most important thing, you're telling the truth to yourself, too.
Correct. I'm saying it, I'd never said it before. Like, I'd never said it out loud. I knew I had a problem, but I'd never said it to another human being. I'd never said, oh shit, this ain't it. And so I get interviewed, and then they say, you ready to go? And I was like, sure. I said, when? He said, today. I said, fuck no. Today? Like, what time today? It's Monday, bro. Fuck out of here. What time? What? Donnie said 3 o'clock. You should be here by 3 o'clock. Oh, Donnie said I should be. He said, well, if he got, he's been sober a lot longer than I have, actually. So, might if I want sobriety, I might have to just do some shit that I'm not. How's it been working for me running this shit? Well, it hasn't been working. This is where I've got myself.
Yeah, if you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna keep getting the same results.
And I was doing the same thing, and it was getting worse. It's getting worse. You know, there was this one time I'm noticing I'm snoring. But I'm like, my wife is like, yo, you're snoring to the point where I can hear you in a fucking another room. Like doors closed, snoring. And you know, I've researched how much when you take so much oxy that your heart slows down and your breathing slows down and your body stops doing what it's naturally supposed to do, which is breathe without me thinking to breathe. And so what I can end up doing is dying in my sleep because I'm not breathing. And so what had happened was there was these moments where I would wake up, and I remember this one specifically. I had woken up and my tongue was like super swollen. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And she explained like what she was hearing. And so I think I was overdosing, but like I had made it through. I had made it through the shit. And I was like, all right. So yeah, so then I get on the horn, I'm like, all right, I'll go. I'll go to rehab. I'll go. Now I didn't check in with my wife or anything. I was like, all right, I'm on the phone with them. I had hung up, my wife hung up on me. I'm on the phone with them for the next hour, figuring it out. Boom. All right, I'm gonna go. Now I gotta call her, tell her I'm about to bounce for 30 days. Now, mind you, she's got a 2-year-old. She's gonna be left alone with a 2-year-old for 30 days. This ain't gonna go over well. So I explained it to her. I said, look, got a problem. This is what's been recommended. I got to go to treatment. Now, mind you, she doesn't know I have a problem, and I spring it on her one day.
Right.
So I go home. I'm crying. My wife is stone cold Steve Austin on the bed, farthest away from me as I'm packing this red fucking bag. I'm packing the bag up. My son is sleeping on his nap time. And I remember telling her, yeah, like, I don't think I'm gonna be there for 30 days. I think it's gonna be like a 2-week stint. Cause like it's not that bad, you know, like, and she said, who said that? I said, me. She was like, you think you're just gonna be on a 2-week boy? And so then she was like, yeah, I think you should leave. I remember trying to hug her, kiss her. And I remember having to leave. Like I literally had to drive myself to this fucking place. And I remember having to leave while I didn't get to say goodbye to my son. Like I didn't, there was no like going into his room and kissing him on his forehead. You need to leave. Boy, the loneliness, the despair, the bottom that I had hit at that point when I'm walking down that fucking stair, down the porch, walking down the stairs, and I'm just, whew. But there's something inside of me that's saying, you need some help. And if you don't keep going, you're probably going to die. So you need to go regardless of what's happening here, you need to get in that fucking car. You need to go drive your ass up to that Lakeside Mile. You need to park that car. You need to go inside and stay. And I just remember that's what I did. I remember driving by it. Being like, oh, this ain't no Taj Mahal, motherfucker. That shit looks like a fucking, I don't know about that.
So it wasn't what you envisioned.
So I walked in. I remember walking in, and this dude, man, he was probably 500 pounds yet. Like he was looking real scary. And he's like taking pictures of me. And I remember they were like, here, man, you gotta give us your phone and your keys and your wallet. And here I am like, and he's like, so if you decide to leave, you got 3 days until you can get this shit back. And I was like, this is weird. You get no sugar and no caffeine here. So it's an inpatient treatment. And for the first 3 or 4 days, you're going to be in detox. And I remember looking around and being like, oh, I was like, so where's the gym? Oh, we don't have one of those. Well, where's the yoga? Where's the yoga studio? Oh, we don't have one of those. Well, where's the shit that I had envisioned I was gonna be getting when I got here that's gonna make my stay a lot easier? Because right now I'm gonna get sick.
Right.
I'm getting sick. Right now, I'm getting sick right now. So where the fuck is the help gonna come from? Relief. Well, you're gonna have to sit through that, brother. You have to sit through that. We got some doctors that'll help you out with a little bit of this, but you're gonna feel this one. And by the way, you're suggest you don't leave. And I will never forget the first cat my first roommate. So I go down to this detox joint and I got this roommate. And the dude he's in some trouble. He'd been on some meth and all these other, he's loopy, he's all over the place in the room. And I'm like, man, like, I'm not as bad as this guy. Like, why do I have to be here? And I talked to him for a little bit, but for the most part, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really into talking right now. I'm just trying to, it's called blackout. So blackout's when I can't call out to anyone. So the only person that knows that I've just asked for help is Donnie and Courtney. That's it. I didn't call my dad. I didn't call my mom. I went into treatment and now I'm there for 3 days. Or for 3 days, I can't call out. So, thinking I'm special. I got to day 2. And was like, I was hyped. I was like, yeah, I need to call my wife right now. Right now. Like, I don't care what your rules are in here. I went to the head lady, Kat. I remember being like, hey, Kat, I don't know. And one of the things about Kat was I was walking down the hallway sick as a dog on the first day. She says, hey, Pete. How you know my name? Who are you? Oh, I'm the head intake counselor here at Lakeside Milam. I said, oh, okay. How you know? There's 90 people here. How you know my fucking name? The fuck? And it stuck in she knew my name. So then I remember being like, okay, so she's the one that I need to talk to in power. If I got a problem, I'm gonna go talk to her. Now in the first day and the second day, I needed. First of all, I didn't think I was an alcoholic. I was like, there's no way. That's not why I'm here. I'm not an alcoholic. I have a pill problem. I need narcotics help. And they were like, well, and so in my head, that's what I'm thinking. So I go down to this office and it's black. I can't call. I can't use the payphone. Cause see, in this place, quarters were like millions of dollars. If you had quarters, that was the currency in which we were working with inside of here. I didn't have no quarters. I didn't have a dollar. I didn't have anything. I didn't know I needed quarters to be in this fucking thing. So now I got to ask people like, hey, I got to do some laundry, or hey, second day, hey, I need you. I had more clothes and shoes and shit in my car. And I was like, I needed one of the counselors to go to, can you get my keys? Can you go to my car and get my shoes so I can at least exercise and they had this outside basketball court. And I was like, I just need to play some basketball. That's what I think I need.
Yeah.
I need to exercise or some shit. And so I remember going to her and I was like, yeah, I need to call my wife right now. And by the way, I need some of you guys, I need someone to go to my car and get my shoes and my clothes. And by the way, I need this kind of book instead of this kind of book. I need that. And if you can provide that, you know what? I'll stay. She said, all right. She picks up the phone. She says, call your wife. And I remember, I get on the phone, I call her, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I was like, hello, hey, honey. And she was like, and Lionel is having an absolute meltdown in the background. And she's just letting him scream. And she lets it scream for about a minute. She ain't saying shit. Day 2. It's like, what do you want? I said, well, I'm just calling to say I love you and I'm here and I'm safe. And what do you want me to say? And I'm like, man, this isn't the way that I had envisioned this going. I thought once I admitted I had a problem, I was going to get love from everyone, especially you. And I said, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Click. And I spin around that fucking chair, and mind you, I am soaking wet. I have just played an NBA game, and there was no timeouts. There was no, like, my body is so, I've just run a marathon or something. I am soaking wet. And I spin my chair around, and she had been like pretending to fucking clean up her office. The office is like this big, and then like she's like fucking fiddling around listening to this conversation. And she was like, so how'd that go? I looked at her, I said, you know how the fuck that went. That was fucked up. I should have just stayed my ass at home, went through the fucking withdrawals, and instead I snitched on myself. I'm a bitch. I'm a sucker. I'm a punk because I told on myself, and I should have just kept it to myself, and I am not a man. And she says, Pete, you know, it's one of the biggest things you can do as a man is admit when you have a problem. And you've done that. But you've come into this facility and you're kind of changing your tune as if you don't need any help anymore. See, I'm here. She was like, I'm here to help you. I'm in the war. I'm fighting the war for you, but I need you to come into the war and fight too. You're outside of you're just fucking, you're not even, I'm fighting, but you're not fighting. Right. I need you to fight.
It's like the help is there, but we have to let the help us.
Right. And so here I am. I haven't been to the doctor. I'm not talking. I'm fucking white knuckling this shit because I just need a little bit of a reprieve. I need a little bit of a break, and then I'll be all right. And she looks at me and she says, you ready to get some help? Mm. And I remember just reviewing what I needed. I need this. I need shoes. I need that. So, if you get all that, would you be ready to fight? Like, yeah. I was like, fuck yeah, I would. Not knowing that after I eat lunch, I go back to my room. I got 4 shoes from the car. I got the new book over here. And I got everything that I was complaining about. I got it. So what's my, oh shit. She like really heard me and she's really coming through. I'll stay another day. I'll stay another day. And so that turned into a 28-day stint there. And yeah, that was I had learned, what I had learned about was how to, the program in which I could participate in if I wanted to have long-term sobriety and recovery. There was these tools that they were giving me that when I would leave, if I picked up those tools and I used them, there was a high rate of success for the people that did that.
Right.
It was just my job that these are your tools. So I'll give it. They're all right here. But when you leave here, they're your tools and you have to use them. And it was told to me that a lot of times when people didn't use them, they ended up dead, back in the facility, in a different facility, or in jail, or in an institution. And so one of the most mind-boggling things of that experience was when I was on like 4 or 5 days in. And every day, usually, or every other day or something, there would be these people that would leave, and they'd get up, and you'd be like, congratulations, like, yay, you're leaving, yay. And then so here I am, like, yay, congratulations, I'm on day 4. This is fucking lame. Good luck out there. This is the worst place in my whole life that I've ever been, and I'll never be coming back here, right? Like, fuck that. If I was that guy, my life is gonna change forever. 2 fucking days later, that same fucking guy is back in the fucking facility.
Wow.
Back in the fucking facility. He's there again. We just did a 30 days, congratulations. Yeah. And then 2 days later, he's back? You hear Joe's back? No, shut the fuck up. Joe's back? From what? Is he working here? Fuck. Is he what's his job? What are you talking about? He's back. He's back for another 28 fucking days? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Fuck out of here. Who does that? Cunning, baffling, and powerful, apparently, is what I had learned. I had started to get an understanding about. So, get out of treatment, first day. One of the things they say, hey, you need to go to a meeting this day you get released. And I remember going and getting some Thai food. And I look across the table at my wife and I say, I think I'm going to stay home tonight and I'm going to hang out with you and Lionel. I'm going to give him a bath. Just, relax. And she said, what about the, going to a meeting right when you're supposed to, when you get out? I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, all right, I'll go to a meeting. And so I went to this meeting. And it was called Lose Your Marbles.
Great
lose your marble. And they passed around a marble in a fucking little net. And I remember being like, I don't know, man. This is fucked. And when I'll never forget the day that night. Because at this point, I'm out. I got the car. And I got Lionel and Courtney in the window of the living room. And the look on her face looked just like, this is how I'd explain it. It said, I hope to God that man is going to a meeting and not going to get loaded. That's what I felt that look looked like.
Wow.
She wasn't sure. She wasn't sure what I was about to go do. Shit, I was going to go to a meeting. Okay. So I went. And from that point on, I kind of started trying to navigate sobriety, and I found a couple people. Seth.
Yeah, our buddy Seth.
I found Seth. And Seth I'd known since I was a young buck. We had played baseball and soccer together. We were cool, but we had lost touch. And ironically, there was rumors that this guy might be sober. And that he went to this one specific hall. This recovery hall. And at this recovery hall, there was some diversity, and it was cats that were they were cool. Because when I got sober, I thought when I was younger, I don't know about you, but sober people were, to me, in my mind, corny. They were lame. Dog, you can't drink, you can't smoke, man. Come on, man. You got to be able to do this.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I met a couple people that were sober when I was growing up and stuff like that, but I never really got it. I thought they were just sober from the jump or something, or that they never had really went through, because it just didn't fathom in my mind. What do you mean you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do anything at all? I thought they were lying about it.
Or what kind of life are you living, bro?
Yeah.
What the fuck you said that? What else do you do? What do you do? What you fucking sew? You fucking what the fuck? What do you do? Laundry? You eat food? You talk to people normally? You share your emotion. Now, see, now I'm like, what the fuck? How do you do that?
That's what I thought too. That when sober people gather together, I thought it was a very depressing scene
Oh,
of in some church basement, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, and just being depressed as fuck,
sad.
sad. But what we've experienced is that that's not really the case.
Yeah, I mean, man, I have to just tell my experience, right? My experience was when I pulled up to the hall, uh, I seen some shit that I was like, I don't know. Like, these fucking cats got S550s. They got they got Mercedeses. They're looking good. They're smelling good. They got gold. They got things that like I could only like almost get. And there was no way in my mind that I thought they were sober. No fucking way.
Because they were like laughing and stuff too. That was my experience. Was like they were
Laughing?
joyful, laughter,
What?
all that.
Who would be laughing?
Right.
We're in the fucking, this is lame. We're in a sober meeting. This shit is stupid. This is like why would we should be able to control this shit like every fucking buddy else. But I remember understanding what the disease is, right? So I got this physical allergy with the mental obsession, and I have this spiritual hole. Like I don't have a spiritual bone in my body at this point. Other than like you better find the introduction was you better find one.
Right.
You better find one before you get lost in the sauce, literally. And I remember holding on to that, but for me, I have a religious resentment. Like I had a religious resentment at the time. Like spirituality and religion were tied together for me. Like they were the same thing. But what I was told through what I learned was like, you can have your own spiritual experience. You can have yours. Mondo can have his. I'm gonna have mine. So wait, hold up. Like that interested me. I was like, whoa. And by the way, Pete, that spiritual situation has been there the whole time. You just gotta go find. You gotta go tap into it. You gotta find it.
Because we were tapping into a different kind of power before that.
Yeah. And that power was like so far away. It was a polar opposite than what I thought I needed. I thought I needed the right amount of this and the right amount of that, the right like levels and the mixture and concoction. And if I could just find that right concoction for the rest of my life would be a beautiful movie. But for some reason I couldn't get it. I could never find the right concoction. I'd get it for a second. I was always chasing that first drink. That first one, that first high. I was always chasing it and I couldn't find it. It was like playing hide and seek and then the guy you're seeking, he's not even available. Like you're just running around trying to, hey man, I'm looking for you. And little did I know there's no finding that again.
Well, I want to go back to something you said earlier about thinking that drugs are my problem, but alcohol, that's not the issue here.
Oh yeah. So for me, in my story, what happens is that when I look back at my situations in which I had problems or where it started or how it starts, as far as the unmanageability of drugs and alcohol, it 99% of the time starts with a drink. So I have a drink and then shit just goes places that I didn't even imagine they could go. Like I'd have a drink and I'd be set, bro. I'd be set on having one drink. I'm going to be the designated driver tonight. I'm going to have no drinks. I'm just going to drink water all night long. And that's the plan I go into the night with. And for some reason, I don't know why, I'd end up, hey, one's not gonna be that bad. We'll just do one. So I get the one, and before you know it, I'm 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows how many drinks in?
Yeah, that's how I look at my alcoholism too. How many times I got drunk when I didn't plan to get drunk, and just that powerlessness after I take that first drink is like normal people when they get drunk, they plan on it. They're like, I'm gonna go out with a set plan to get drunk tonight, and I just couldn't do that. You know, I would get drunk when I didn't want to.
Bro, almost every time going out was like, yo, I just want to keep it cool.
Mm,
Just keep it cool, keep it level. But for some reason, I always end up in these situations where I'm hammered. I'm
right. How
sloshed.
did I get here?
I'm in places that I'd never
Mm,
even how did this even happen?
mm,
It goes back to some of these stories where you're like told about how you behaved,
mm.
with some of the things that you did. And I have no recollection at all. Sometimes when the compassion and the empathy I have for that person has hurt someone drinking and driving, and they wake up in their jail cell and they have no idea why they're there. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I just never got it, or my higher power did not put me in that situation to learn my lesson that way. But I can relate and I have compassion for someone, even though it sounds crazy that I would have compassion for someone who would hurt someone else so bad that they might have killed them while they were drinking and driving. But I've been to those places. I've been in blackout situations where I'm driving and I don't know I'm driving, apparently. But I just didn't hurt anybody that time. And so I was in these situations where I was doing these things over and over again, drinking. And so it would always lead to more, like more. I'd smoke weed, I'd pop pills. And so then my story tells me that alcohol is my engine, and it gets me like going to the other places. Like I'm an alcoholic addict. That's what I claim myself to be. And so I have this thing in my body that, like, when I drink alcohol, I have this allergy, and like my allergy kicks in where I want more. And with my mental obsession, which means that I get my drink in me, now my mind's telling me, hey man, you need more. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more right now. My body's excited. So now I got this two-pronged system right now going hot and heavy. And what happens is when I stop drinking, my mind's still saying, hey, let's go get drunk. It'll be a good solution. You're stressed out, you're feeling good. Doesn't matter what's happening, but I think you should. You took a day or two off. You blacked out. You almost hit some people. You ran into four cars. You've done. You've been in jail. Terrible things have been happening, and you've taken a break. But I think that in my mind, I think that it's that now we'll do it different this time. And so I would continue to like just keep resetting the trial period. And I could never it's interesting. My mind likes to like latch onto the times that like I could drink
Yeah,
okay.
me
Like I did
too.
okay.
Right.
I did all right. I had 5 beers and I said I'd have 5 beers. But that's like the small that's like looking out over my drinking career, these times in which I'd say I do this type of drinking, the percentage is so small.
Yes.
It's like a very small percentage that be able to control it. But my mind latches onto those times that I could, so
Yeah.
then I don't have a problem. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem. Remember that one time I drank 5 beers when I said I drink 5 beers? I don't have a problem.
Yeah. For me, it was like I was never in control of the times where I would lose control, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's my story.
Yeah.
I think that's what's interesting about us and you sharing it. That's our truth. But like, man, there's cats that understand that.
Yeah.
There's cats that can relate to that. And so, yeah, the alcohol got me. And like in my experience, my family, it runs in my family.
Yeah.
It's destroyed my family. It's destroyed it from alcoholism. And that alcoholism has killed people in my family. And it's ruined relationships. And it's ruined the family unit. And for some reason, I've been gifted with an opportunity to like stop that shit. Stop that shit. We're gonna stop it right here with me. He's gonna stop with me, and my son never needs to see me loaded ever again.
Amen.
Ever loaded. Not. I mean, shit, I'm not perfect. I am not the perfect dad. I'm not the perfect husband, not the perfect friend, but you don't have to see me loaded today. Shit, it's one day at a time, man. Today, I'm not getting loaded. Thank God.
Well, let's talk about that. So you stopped. You went to the treatment center. You got stopped. What about staying stopped? What do you do on a daily basis? What has led you to having these 3.5 years, which is to people like us is like that's a miracle.
Yeah.
How do you stay stopped? That's the real question.
All right. So the way, man, this is the question. This is the golden ticket. Like the way that I've stayed stopped, because again, we'll go back to the fact that, like, all right, I could get a few days. I could get a week, 2, maybe 3, a month. Ooh, got a drug test coming up, got to pass that. I could get it, but the day after the drug test or the day of the drug test, once the drug test is done, I'm high again. I'm rolling. So I couldn't stay stopped. But for some reason, they had given me the tools along with, so I had intense outpatient. So I went from inpatient, and then I would go like 3 days a week to outpatient from like 6 p.m. to like 9 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And in these groups, you would have, it was like therapy sessions. It would be like a group therapy session, but you'd work on things like triggers. And I remember there was this big deal about these emojis. And these emojis, this piece of paper would get passed around to the group, and it had like 1,000 emojis on it. And then the counselor, Marlon, he would be like, so why don't you guys pick 2 emojis out of how you're feeling today? And I remember getting like 90 days or something, and they got these newcomers in here, and I'm a little irritable. I don't have I had a sponsor at that. I had a sponsor, so I was okay about day 90 as far as having a sponsor to like call and like vent to. My spiritual advisor at that point I was just venting. I was throwing my stuff out on him, but I was getting no like uh lasting relief. It was like I was sober, but I was road raging. I was lying still. I was deviating from things that I was supposed to be doing. So I was sober, but like my life was still in shambles. Now at this time, I'm slowly but surely building my wife's trust, kinda. There was this rule put into my home to this day that still stands, that if I start acting a little squirrely, if there's any fucking question about what I'm doing, there's a drug test ready for me right here. Like, hey man, go piss in the cup. And so that's part of my story to this day. So the trust is being built slowly but surely on a day-to-day basis. But what it took was for me to find that power greater than myself, man. Like, again, I go back to what I was talking about yesterday. Running the show. I am, in my mind, I'm the boss. In my mind. When I'm running this shit, I run the shit. I manipulate everybody around me to give me what I need, what I want. But what happens is, through time and learning how to like give away this power and give it to my higher power and say, all right, I'm willing to do what you want me to do. I'm willing to that today. Right now, I'm willing to do what you want me to do. It's like this new way of life, because to me, my higher power is like, I would relate it to like a conscience. It's like it's the whispering voice that people might have that tell you to do the right thing. And some people might just have it intuitively in them to do the right thing. But for this guy right here, I could not do the right thing almost at any point in the day. I lie about everything. Pete, did you eat dinner already? No, I just came from Wendy's.
Yeah, and this can be in sobriety too.
Sober.
Yeah,
I'm talking about sober. I'm a year sober, but I'm going to eating Wendy's because I'm afraid I'm gonna never like. I'm afraid I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna have to eat that treatment food again, and I'm not gonna be allowed to eat outside. Some fears they're going on, and so like I can't tell the truth, dog.
yeah.
There ain't no fucking way. If I tell the truth, you're gonna fucking not like me. You're gonna distrust me. There's gonna be, oh, you lie, you know. There's gonna be a whole bunch of consequences for me telling the truth. Because if I told you the truth, you would judge me. You wouldn't be my friend. You wouldn't love me anymore. But what I've been able to do is like, my truth is my truth. And like, as long as I'm speaking my truth and I'm being honest and I'm being open, that's what who God would have me be. Like he wants, my higher power wants me to tell the truth all the time. That's what he said. Go ahead, man. Come on, man. Be honest. What? Yeah. What's the consequence for that? What they're not gonna, well, you're telling the truth. Like now, look, I've been working on something where it's how I tell it. Sometimes I can get pretty rude and raw, and my tone is off. But like, if you don't like my truth, then it's not my problem. And so, but one of the ways that you had asked, like, how do I stay? How do I continue? Like, how do I keep this shit? It's like I help other people, man. And I build my personal life around people that kind of see the same, have the similar philosophy of like, if I'm helping you, I'm outside of myself running the show. I want to know how Rudy's doing today. I want to know how Mondo's doing today. I want to know how Lionel's doing today. I want to know how everybody's doing today. I want to know how the clerk's doing at the subway or I want to know how everybody's doing, because if I'm worried about, or not worried, but if I'm making sure, how's everybody doing? They're sharing, they're honest, and what happens for me is I get outside of myself. Cause see, me and selfishness and self-centered is the root of my problem. I'm selfish. And so today, every day I wake up, I pray, I get quiet. I call it getting quiet. We call it getting quiet. And that's just tapping into that spirit, that higher power that like, hey man, like, what's up? What are we doing today? How can I be of service to others?
So what I'm hearing you saying is you're talking about living sober, and I want to back up to how, because for me too, I thought removing the alcohol, like I thought alcohol, that was my problem. If I removed the alcohol and drugs, everything was going to be fine. And what we learned is that what I've learned, we remove that alcohol and everything is not fine. Now we have to learn how to live sober. I had to learn how to live in sobriety and stay stopped, because all these problems that I thought I had that were caused by alcohol, they just got louder and they got bigger when I removed the alcohol. So these things that you're saying you're doing, these are things that what me and you as brothers do on a daily basis, because I do a lot of these same things that you're describing as well. They're things that are practices, spiritual practices that are put in place in order to live in sobriety. And I think it's just an interesting concept, because I always thought that once I removed the alcohol, everything was going to be peaches and cream, and my problems were going to go away instead of get bigger. And what you're talking about, like when you wake up in the morning doing daily prayer meditation, like were you doing that when you were using, when you were drinking?
No, my focus was getting the next one.
Yeah.
There was first of all, like there was no spiritual anything. I mean, my only grind was to get the next one, whether that be a vapes, a weed vape pen, a joint, a pill, a drink. I needed some. I thought what I needed was those things that helped me be okay. But little did I know that was my solution to the underlying problems, or the underlying things that I've never addressed or thought about, or been taught how to work through and let go of. A lot of childhood trauma. How do I let go of that? I mean, I got high over that shit. Triggers throughout the day of like, oh man, that reminds me of one day my dad used to talk to me or this and then boom, well, I need to get high because I can't think about that stuff. And so the things that I've been given is tools on how to live sober. And those include like, identifying some of those things that like were a problem on why I thought I needed to drink. Like, you know, one of the craziest things is my curiosity level for like spirituality or God was that um, there'd be these sports players and they'd be like, praise God and, may God, hallelujah, like, oh, all power to God and all that stuff. And I'd be like, nah, he skipped me. I don't know anything about that guy. And but I was curious. What's up with that? So there was a lot of I was really lacking any spiritual component. And what I was told is when I got sober that that's one of the missing components that you might have been missing to stay.
Right.
To keep this thing. And I was like, man, well, I'm willing to do whatever, I'm willing. I'm willing to believe, I guess. Because the way that I was operating wasn't working. Whatever this was, what I was trying to do wasn't working. So I was willing to take suggestions, take these things. Now, I didn't do it perfectly. Fuck that. I mean, some people told me, yeah, the God thing's not very important. This higher power thing is not really that serious. Well, I was struggling 2 years in, still struggling.
In sobriety.
Struggling. 2 years in. Sober, hyped up. Sobriety's the shit. This is what we're doing. And it be in meetings and you be talking to people and the homies, you're trying to get them sober and everybody, yeah, sober poster boy over here. Yeah, but when I would be alone, fuck. This is fucked. I'm doing things when no one's looking that I shouldn't be doing. For what kind of integrity is that? Like I'm dying inside. 2 years sober. So then you introduced me to a gentleman, and Larry introduced you to the gentleman.
That's right.
And that gentleman is now today our spiritual advisor. And that man, people try to tell me I saved my own life. Well, let me tell you, this gentleman right here we're going to talk about right now is like the guy that helped me find my higher power. Fuck out of here. That I had never met anyone to get me to some place where I could even be willing. I was willing, but like, did I believe? And today I believe. And it's thanks to him and you and Larry and a lot of people in the program that have taken the spiritual path of this solution. And so
I think it's interesting that you mentioned about the NFL players and stuff that are praising God because I used to think like, well, of course they believe in God. Their life is great. They just scored they just won the Super Bowl or they just did something great and their life is amazing and they're millionaires. Like I'd probably be believing God too.
God was great.
But that's where part of my spirituality comes in is I look at my life now compared to what it used to be, and I know I didn't get myself sober. There was a path that I was put on that was a power that's greater than me that has me sitting right here at this table with you doing this podcast. Like there's powers at work here that are a little bit greater than me, and just to surrender to that and understand that there's a power that's out there that's not me. It's kind of like the beginning of my journey and the experience is starting with that little bit of understanding that there's something out there that's greater than me.
I mean, what you're talking about to me is how I was in treatment one day and I was clowning on the presenter, the person that was doing we were gonna have a speaker. She was speaking and she was explaining this word the Excel spreadsheet or something. She was doing this presentation and she had misspelled this word. And I was day 14 and I remember being like, I did not like this lady And I couldn't wait to find an error. And I found the error and I called her out. And you misspelled this word and it should be acceptance instead of like, and the whole fucking room turned around. I was sitting in the back. And they turned around and, is that what you're coming with today, Pete? Really? And I remember, man, going back, like, session ended, went back to my room, and I'm laying there in the bed, and I'm like, all right, these people are talking about this fucking higher power shit. All right, like they're talking about it could be a doorknob, it could be any fucking thing, just something that's not me. Something that's not me, that's greater than me. Well, I started to think about all the times I should have died. I've been in a lot of car accidents. I've been in a lot of fucking weird ass scenarios. And there seemed to be some sort of theme in these things and these ideas or these memories that I had. And the theme were the sun. I said, all right, fuck. Let's just call it the sun for now. Now, mind you, my curtains are this close. They're like this open. And I'm laying in that bed and I named it the sun. And I was like, it's the sun. And all of a sudden, this beam of sun comes like across my chest while I'm laying on this fucking bed. And at that moment, I believed. And I was like, all right, I'll go with it. Because see, up until that point, I wasn't willing. I sat in that bed, I said, I needed a sign. I needed something here. Because this ain't working. I'm gonna get if I continue down this path of the way that I'm acting right now in this in this place, I'm gonna go get high again. It's only a matter of time. So they're telling me I gotta find some shit, a power greater than myself. Fuck it, the sun. Well, ironically, it's out today. It's beaming. When I'm telling this is the longest time I've ever really spoke about my story. Usually it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, fucking a little bit of here, a little bit there. You can get a piece. And we ain't even gotten the whole thing in. But at this point, this is a great way to just understand that when I found that power, there was a relief that set over me. And to this day, like when I honed in on it, I got closer to it and I used the tools given to me. I got closer to my higher power. The obsession to drink has lifted. I can go anywhere a free man goes. I can go to the bar. I can go to the barbecue. I can go to wherever. Cocaine. Not that I want to go to these, like, I don't frequent these places. It's just I can go wherever, and there's no thought in my mind that would be something that I want to do or should do or could do. That's not a part of the obsession in my mind. I don't obsess about using anymore. And there is not a day that in active use that I wouldn't go by that I wouldn't think about using every single fucking day.
Right.
Every single fucking day I thought of using. And it was obsessive. All fucking day. I'm going to get whatever, the morning, the lunch, the fucking dinner time, in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, fucking dreams about it. The obsession was overwhelming to the point where I must use. But today, that is not the problem. That is not something that I deal with. It is gone. It's been lifted out of me. But there's only one way that I've understood that this is supposed to be continuously lifted and no longer available to me, is that if I stay spiritually fit every single fucking day. I don't stay spiritually fit every fucking day. So I've been given grace at times when I'm not spiritually fit. But what I've learned through my 3.5 years is that if I get off center, I'm not too far. I'm not in the middle. I'm not in the Bermuda Triangle. I'm not out there fucking woo. Like, how do I don't even see land around here. Shit, my rope, the little rope had just fallen off the dock and it's just maybe a couple feet out. I'm gonna throw that rope maybe to you. Hey man, can you tie me up real quick? I need to get back on land here. This is not really cool. So today though, I have an opportunity to, like, not be obsessed with the idea of using. And so then I do all these other things that I only dreamt of doing. I dreamt of consistently going to the gym. I dreamt of showing up in my son's kindergarten class. I dreamt of being a husband that was reliable and participant. I dreamt of being a good friend. One day when I get sober, I'm going to do all of these things. And the problem was, even sober, I was having a problem fulfilling those things. So why the fuck wouldn't I just go get high?
Correct.
Well, thank God we meet Alvin. And Alvin takes us to this place like, oh yeah, and by the way, this is how you do it. This is how you stay. And so now my job, one of my main purposes in life is to carry that message and to let other people, if they want it, they can learn, they can come through here to this vessel right here, and we can get busy. And they don't ever have to use again, even if they want to. I can show them a way today. I can show them a way that even if they want to get high right fucking now, that there's a way out of that. And I'm a walking, living person that has lived through that. And I've come out the other side, and now my job is to carry this. A lot of people talk about, don't let people know you're sober. Let them come to you. Let them ask you, like, why don't you drink? Listen, man, I am proud to be sober. It is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. And so I believe that there are other people out there struggling with this exact problem. And I and him and a whole bunch of other people can take you through a way to, like, not do it ever again. Or at least today.
Man, I'm hearing a lot of hope. And I think the key word you said is show. You can show people and not tell them. It's all about, how you're living this thing. You're really living this thing out. You're living sober. It's not just about not drinking and not using drugs. It's about living sober. And that's the message I'm hearing from you. I think it's a good place to stop. That I love that you talked about the sun. The sun is out today.
Yeah.
I think both of us are eager to get out there and get some vitamin D.
Man, that Color Studio, baby. We just, Thanks,
Let's
Rudy.
go.
I appreciate you, baby. Thanks. Hey,
Appreciate
Mondo,
you.
thank you very much for today's session, man. I'm glad I could just share my story, man. And next couple sessions or episodes, we're gonna have some guests on. And
exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
Let's roll, baby.
Yeah, and thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned.
Yeah.